This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. You're tuned in to the TCSF podcast with Big Z. In the house, we got JC, Dynasty Fantasy Football. We got Ivan from the Tape Never Lies. And we got Stevie B from the No Water and Weekend podcast. And we're coming straight to you from the 606 Media virtual studios powered by True Chicago sports fans. This episode 237. What are we calling it? One Savior. And we're fired up to deep dive into everything that makes Chicago great, which is our Chicago sports teams. It is brought to you by 606 Media, your ultimate source for all things Chicago. Don't forget to swing by 606media.com and snag your official TCSF podcast t-shirt and gear. And also check out our exclusive line for the love of sports. Show off your Chicago pride with our merchandise. So go over there at 606media.com and show us some love and buy some merch. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, X, what do you got to do, Stevie B?
Smash and subscribe.
That's right. Smash and subscribe. Definitely do that. And if you're listening on a podcast app, just audio version, give us a 5-star review. Drop some nice, kind words. It'll shoot us up on the charts. We really would appreciate that. But if you want to,
you can leave some comments, and I will respond all day long.
Yeah, JC's in charge of the response right there. And if you want to subscribe, drop us some coin. You can hit us up at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans and subscribe for as little as 99 cents a month. Every little bit helps keep the conversation going week to week, and it helps us improve our show. We buy a little bit of gear here, maybe some merch. JC doesn't work for free, so we got to pay the man, and we don't have enough for lap dances. And while you're here, subscribe to the rest of the 606 Media family. We got Impodskated with myself, Big Z. We dive deep into fascinating life stories with engaging discussions, insightful interviews, and plenty of humor. We got No Water on the Weekend with Steven and Sean, a pop culture podcast serving up funny trivia, film, TV, music, and all the latest Chicago-centric happenings. And they are now on Twitch, so you can see their beautiful faces every week. And we're going to put them on 606 Media on the channel pretty soon. We'll get them strapped on to that.
I know it's on the YouTube. It's on the YouTube. It is on YouTube, right? I don't know the numbers, how it did it.
I'm not sure if you clicked the last one on the YouTube button there, but I knew you were on the Twitch button. But I watched a little bit. Definitely a good show. Go ahead and support them right after we're watching this. So let's strap in, get ready for an unforgettable ride through the best of Chicago sports, culture, and beyond. Let's get started without further delay. One Savior, episode 237. Let's start off with our Chicago baseball teams. We are starting with the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox. We'll do a little sound here. Let's do 3 out, 3 down.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball. 1, 2, 3, strike.
All right, Chicago Cubs. Hey, what do you say? Chicago Cubs are here to play spring training. And we got a couple of injuries. We've got a famous person in the dugout, which everyone was super excited to see. And I'm disappointed because you could have signed Jose Quintana to be a middle reliever and even a long starter just in case, a breaking case emergency. He eats up innings. He would have been cheap, but he went to the Brewers. But boys, what is your overall impression of the Cubs? They did lose one game this week. I think that's the only game they lost to Cincinnati. So what's the importance of spring training games, the record, what's going on with the injuries, and are we excited that slamming Sammy Sosa is back, boys? Ivan, start us off.
Well, I'll just knock it. I'll save the Sammy stuff for last. I want kind of all of us to talk about it. So we'll talk about the Cubs right now. I feel like, I have this kind of even keel feel about the Cubs. Like, I think that the Cubs are going to be obviously, somewhat matching what they did last season. Mm-hmm. But it's what they can, add on, right? They have obviously been a team that could be, on par even with just the status quo. But now can they take it to the next level with Craig Counsell? He's definitely gotten more athletic. He's gotten, a lot faster. Everybody seems like they're getting younger. There are some older, guys that have been added, but they're in roles that are, to like teaching roles as well, like example roles. Guys that when tough times get going, they know how to get through those tough times. Like our guy Big Red, freaking what's his name? It's freaking leaving me. Turner. Would do it Turner? So it's like you got guys that won World Series. You got guys that have been through the dog days. Have been through. I really feel like the Cubs can get over the hump. Now, what you're also seeing is that these backup guys that they brought in and some of these younger guys are really starting to step up as well. So that to me is awesome. When it's a hard decision, when you're going to go ahead and fill out that 25-man roster, you know what I'm saying? I like that. Make it a hard decision. Make it so that we could look at, all right, if this guy doesn't make it, well, there's another guy that's really hungry, waiting to take his spot if need be, waiting to step up and help the ball club up. If they get called up, if need be. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how April starts, taking it easy, not getting too high, but just allowing this to play out, because right now you can't be too desperate in April. If this doesn't get going, Jed's on his way out. Like it is what it is, right? Like this is, you went ahead and you signed a guy, or you brought in a guy, you traded for a guy that might not even be with your ball club next year. And granted, he has great numbers and he's a great ball player, but it's his decision ultimately, and he's pretty much proven so. With the, I guess, so quote unquote talks that they had, you knew what he was doing. He always had his mind made up. Regardless, he's going to test free agency. But with that being said, I just look forward to April. Like that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just looking forward to April. I'm excited, just like every other baseball fan. I'm going to take in the first month, like for lack of just like a novice, like just kind of take it in like a kid. Whatever. Let's see what the Cubs do. Once May, June come rolling around, then I'll start really getting into that ass if I have to, or praising them if I have to.
JC.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the season to kick off, and we'll see with the additions that we've made. We've looked very good in spring training so far, so we'll see if we can keep that going and be the leader of Chicago, because we know the Sox aren't going to be going very far.
Wow, just throwing dirt early in the show. All right, here we go. Stevie B.
Yeah, I'm going to second that with JC. Southside ain't going to do it.
If anybody's going to be slinging dirt, they're going to be building that new stadium on the south side.
Oh, by the way, I think we should roll on through there and like hit some softballs or something, because I passed by there I think it was one of the last Bears games. I was on the scooter, like rolling through on was it Roosevelt?
Yeah, Roosevelt.
I was on Roosevelt.
I would love to take a video of that.
Honestly, it would have been a great video, because it's like my big ass on this scooter, and it's not if you're on Roosevelt, it's not a great overpass, like when you're going over the bridge. But the field looked fantastic. We should just like take a trip over there, hit some softballs or something, because it doesn't look like it's being watched. You know what I mean? Like it's just there.
How do we get down there? Gotta rappel off the bridge? What are we doing?
I don't know.
I do have some rappelling gear if we need to.
Okay, Batman.
Why do you have rappelling gear?
Oh, for when I would do rock climbing as a kid, younger, like just to use my own lines. But anyway, yeah, I'm all down for that.
Actually, I'm a very good belay man, so we can make this work.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we bought that.
Yeah,
I'm ready for March 18th and the 19th. Those are the days I'm looking forward to, because that's when the Cubs and Dodgers play in Tokyo. That's exciting for me. I'm also thinking about, is it too early to have talks about Pete Crow Armstrong? Are we going to sign him early? Are we going to already give him a good contract? That's their talks. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm 50-50 with it. He's a young kid, but injury, something could happen. Knowing the Cubs luck, that's what could happen. I'm
going to tell you right now, Stevie B, from a White Sox experience where you sign these kids super young, and then they don't produce.
Yeah.
You know, because they just sat there. You know, we had Moncada and Eloy. You signed them as babies. You know, they got them all that big money, and guess what? When it came to major leagues, they did nothing. So, make them continue to prove that money. Make them hungry. Go ahead, finish your thought.
No, and I'm excited to see that. And again, we talked about this last week. Spring training games are just practice; they don't count. You know, you're just getting your body used to conditioning and stuff like that. So, yeah, losing one game, that's great. But when you come back, you're in like nice weather over there. And in Arizona. Then you come back to Chicago and it's cold still. You know, your bones now freeze up a little bit. The ground's a little bit harder. Yeah, I'm excited. Again, I'm keeping it very minimum standards. I got to subscribe to Marquee soon, so I got to cancel some other subscriptions.
We talked about this off air. What you need to do,
I know. But anyway, I'm excited. So it's going to be great. I know there's some injuries, but Craig Counsell, I think he's going to have the ship in order for this season, and he's going to do a good job.
All right, we got a comment. It looks like they're coming in for JC already. Bruce from Bruce American Thighs from Wedding Band, best band in the world. JC, spring training means nothing. Looking good in preseason. You don't do a gambling show, do you? The JC, see what you started? You open the floodgates. You open Pandora's box. Now everyone want to come for you, man.
Is this guy Canadian?
No.
Did I hurt him? What is going on?
He's not Canadian.
Listen, you know what? Yes, I understand spring training means nothing, especially when the Cubs are winning like 11 to whatever. And I mean, some of the scores have been out of control, but it's a hopeful and good thing to see that there is some offensive production from the Cubs. So that's what I'm leaning towards. If we can keep that offensive production going, I love to see it. So I don't, is Bruce a Sox fan? Bruce, hit us up in the comments. Did I hurt you by saying that the Sox are going to go kick dirt? What's going on?
Bruce is a Chicago fan. He follows all the teams.
I will say this: Matt Shaw was eager on the game the other day on Sunday when they won 7-3. He looked good. I mean, he went 0 for 3, but his bat practice when he was up there didn't look like it was too big for him in the show. So,
great batting practice.
Great batting practice. I look great in batting practice too when they're throwing 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
What up, Crooked Commish? Good to have you back on, brother.
Sammy was in the dugout and might have given him a cork bat.
There you go. Before we get into the Sammy, Pacoda has the Chicago Cubs winning the division with 91.5 wins. Milwaukee finishing with 80.3. How are we feeling about that? Because Pacoda is Pacoda. You know, they're either on or off. But do we see this Chicago team, as a 90-win team?
They fucking better be.
They need to be. If they're going to win the Central, they need to have 90 wins or plus. I don't see if they go 88 again, I'm going to lose my mind.
They got Cincinnati at 74.8. I think that's going to be way higher. I think they will be better than Pittsburgh and probably competing for that second or third slot.
I can see them overachieving. Yeah.
Yeah, I can, especially with the new coach over there. Why am I drawing a blank out?
Francona.
Yep, Francona. Yep. Definitely, he'll get that team right. Let's see. Crooked Commish chiming in. You said my Cubbies are going to get to a hot start in the non-important games. Awesome to catch y'all live. Thanks, Crooked. We love having you on, brother, every week. Love it. You know what? I really think that the Cubs need to catch on fire very quickly and stay on top of the division throughout. I do think they do have, they start off with the Dodgers, which is, you're playing the World Series champs. It's going to be a playoff atmosphere. If you can take one of those games, that's a win because you're literally playing an all-star team. So if you start off there, all right, cool. We beat the champs. All right, let's keep this rolling. And I really think if you beat up on the Central Division, there's no one stopping you, right? Until you get to the playoffs. Let's see. Cubs are going to need Dansby Swanson to be more consistent at the plate.
Absolutely.
Dansby, you know what he is. He bats 240, hits 12 home runs, about 70 to 80 RBIs. But he's good with the glove. That's what they got him for the glove.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Again, he's going to be your Jason Hayward now. That's your defensive player right there. He's not there for offense.
Well, I did see a interview with Dansby, and he claimed he was hurt last year, so he hopes to perform better this year. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, Bruce, chiming in, bring me in. We can have a sports conversation with opinions, thoughts, and please, honestly, though, I am whatever team is better. I'm sick of losing. Hey, man, there's really not a lot of hope in Chicago. We've been talking about this for the past couple months, and that's why I named it One Savior, and I put a picture of Caleb there because he's the only man that can save this city from being horrible. And, the Bears galvanized the city. Everyone's a Bears fan here, and if you're not a Bears fan, get the F out. Go back to Wisconsin or wherever you're from. But definitely, I would love for the Cubs to do well because I want the city feels different during the summer when one of the teams or both of the teams are doing well. When both teams are trash, it's like, all right, bro, what festival are we going to? Because we're not going to baseball games. It kind of kills the vibe for the summer. Baseball and summer go together. So, all right, let's get into Sammy Sosa being in the dugout, dressed out, looked like he could take a couple hacks at the plate. What is your impression of Sammy Sosa being a presence?
Steven?
I think it was great. I mean, you get to hear probably stories from him back in the day, probably talk about how he saw the plate, how the pitches came to him, talk about maybe to the outfielders or, things like that. Infielders probably, did a presentation, said hi to everyone. It was great in my eyes. I don't think it's like crazy. Like it's nice. It doesn't help. It helps. It doesn't hurt, I should say. So I think it was great. I mean, you're bringing someone in and, everyone has a troubled past and everyone, does some mistakes in their lives and some are really dumb, but you learn from them and it's good to have them back. But, it's something different. Mentoring, I should say.
I don't know. I kind of lean towards I'm still waiting for an actual apology.
Get out of here, bro.
It was I made some mistakes, but then basically like claim like he didn't make any mistakes. Like it's one of those where I just sit there like, dude, just say you juiced and call it a day, admit to it. And like we can, like I said, obviously we're all moving on anyway. Like it's been that long that nobody really cares, but it is one of those like just say it. Like,
well, he's not going to get into the hall. Let's just put it that way. He's not getting into the hall whether he says he juiced or not, right? Because he's under the suspicion list, so he's not going to get in. But at the same time, I don't feel he owes me anything. If anything, he owes me money for watching him, throw out a cork bat out there when you're an MLB player. You're trying to cheat with a cork bat, and after juicing, throw me some money. Some money for watching that poor performance the last couple of years and your temper tantrums and all that stuff that kind of gave you a bad taste at the end of his career with the Chicago Cubs after bringing baseball back from the death that it was in. But I just think right now, I think he's there. He's a goodwill ambassador. You can have him be part of the new brand for the Cubs, just like the Bulls bring back a lot of their players and have them as a brand ambassador and take them out to events and stuff like that. It's a great way to repair this relationship. And let's be honest, the fans love Sammy. All right. At the end of the day, they love Sammy. And there was nothing to watch during that Sammy era because there was, after the Sandberg, Dunston, era, then Sammy came over and resurrected that team with not a lot of good players until they went to they got in that playoff run and went to, in 03. So, Ivan, what is your impression of Sammy coming in?
Be nice.
You know where I stand. you know where I stand. No, I'm Sammy all the way. I mean, like obviously wrongs were done, but I feel like there's a double standard with what really happened. Like if you have somebody turning a blind eye to a certain aspect, is it really illegal? At that point, if they're allowing it to happen, is that illegal? So to me, there's a great. They knew what they were doing. MLB knew what they were doing. They knew these guys were making money for them. They didn't care until it bit them in the ass, right? Until they started to say, "Oh well, they're doing this. They're injecting or cream or whatever the fuck they were doing to themselves to get, as big as they did. To me, I'll say this. Yeah, he did some wrong. So did a lot of those guys. But man, I'll never forget what they did for baseball. Like, I'll never forget
Absolutely
all those names, that entire era. Like, if you didn't know they were juicing, I mean, if you probably wouldn't have cared. Like if it never gotten out, like, nobody would have gave a shit, I feel like. But like, regardless of that, I appreciate what they did, right? I appreciate what they did, from Sosa to McGuire to Bonds. They played baseball. They hit dingers. It was a crazy freaking time, and it made MLB a lot of money after a strike season that pretty much tore the fan base into pieces. So, like I said, was
let
it
me
wrong?
ask you a question.
Wait. Was it wrong? I will say yes, it was wrong. Do I give a shit? Not really right now, man. I really don't care. Bring Sammy back. He's back, and I love it.
How old were you guys when that era was going on?
Well, that was what, 98?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember 98. So I was at the beginning of the year, my senior year.
Really?
Yeah, because I
Oh, yeah.
graduated in 98. So I started my senior year in 98 and I graduated in 99.
Man, middle school, high school.
Okay.
Because
I was like,
running home. I remember running home from grammar school and like watching Cubs games with my grandfather.
oh, that's cool. I like that.
And like I said, it might have been early Sammy Sosa because Mark Grace was still on the team. Like, I remember that. But yeah, that home run, Mark McGuire stuff, that might have been high school. Like I said, as a Cubs fan, for me, it's one of those, like, yes, Sammy Sosa did amazing things for baseball and everything like that. But yeah, it's just one of those, as a Cubs fan, the cork bat, the juicing, and then like I literally sat there, like I got home in time from, again, I don't remember if it was high school or grammar school, but you're watching him being interviewed on the floor with the government talking about steroids. And then he goes, "Oh, I don't speak very good English." And it's one of the, like, wait. I watch you take interviews after every baseball game and your English seems fine then. So that, to me, like, that's what I from like when I was a kid, is just like, okay, this guy that I thought was amazing baseball player, it's like he's refusing to just man up and admit like he made a mistake.
Well, like they say, never meet your heroes, JC.
Exactly.
Like you met your hero like live on television. Like, it was just it wasn't in person. It was just boom on the on the Senate floor or wherever it was. It was a Congress, wherever they got interviewed at.
Right.
I get it. He broke your heart. He broke all of our hearts. But I think
let's
it's
be
time
honest
to mend the wound.
Yeah, let's be honest here. Sammy wasn't a nice person at the time he was playing. Neither was Ryan Sandberg. Neither was Michael Jordan, right? There was a lot of Chicago players. Remember, this is no social media era.
Oh,
so
man, don't even get me going on Chris Chelios. Oh,
right. Again, there's multiple, and this is just
Don't
Chicago.
talk about that man.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of Chicago players that were a-holes to a lot of the fans, right? Or to a lot of people just in general. It's just the fact that we saw it on TV for the first time. And another issue, you got Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco doing that in the 80s, and baseball allowed it. You got Giambi and then the whole Yankee team was doing it too, right? You had a lot of players across baseball, across decades, taking juice. It just so happened that when someone would decide to spill the beans, after, like Bruce said, they milked Sammy for every single dollar because he was out there, slamming Sammy, and he was going out there against Mark McGuire. It's I don't have to apologize if I was trying to win, trying to stay in the game, and it was allowed. There was no rule against juicing at that point.
I mean, I attended a game where Sammy hit 3 home runs in a game. And again, I was there. I was screaming my head off. I was cheering and whatever. But again, like, as a fan, like, I don't know why it just still irks me that, like, again, like, his apology was a non-apology. It's just like, I don't know. That's just my opinion of it. It's just, dude, just actually say, like, I did it. I screwed up. I want to be forgiven, and just leave it at that. But it's like, no. I have to say I did some things, but I don't regret it. Like, it's like, so you're just spitting in the face of
Rafael Palomero lied in Congress directly saying, I did not take steroids. And it's like, there was multiple players that said, yeah, he took steroids, and I seen him take steroids. And it's like, it at this point, does it really matter?
Yeah, he was like probably the most obvious one.
Right. He was at the end of his career, and then he started hitting bombs. Like, no, dude, that doesn't happen.
I will say this about the don't meet your heroes. When I saw that going on, I got in trouble at school. I signed my mom's signature and I started cheating, and it taught me a valuable lesson on how to get through. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. So that's the whole aspect. I'm going to leave that here. Tell your
that was
kids
me and JC's motto in college.
Yeah, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right? So you got to do what you got to do.
I don't know.
You get
caught. Our motto was, if we're not drinking margaritas in class, what are we doing?
Oh
yeah, I would have loved that. Me and JC would have been.
No. What class was it, Jose? That
which one?
It was the last class that we needed to graduate, and like.
Wait, you're talking about the non-PE one? The
non-PE class. It was the last
one we were bringing beverages in.
Class, yeah. I was literally bringing like a thermos, like, it was like 40-ounce thermoses with margaritas, and we were just passing it back and forth until we failed our first test. I think I had a 28% on the first test.
I had a 32. Yeah.
And,
wow, rocket scientist guys over here.
Hey man, we're PE teachers. Ain't nobody saying we're academia over here, bro. No, we took it serious right after that.
Because we didn't understand the rules of this teacher. It was, you better take notes, and you bet, like, her test was, you better spit back verbatim, like word for word from the lecture, and if you didn't do so, you ended up with a 28%.
All right, Bruce chiming in. Most sports guys are not smart. They play sports. And banging Chelio's wife wasn't uncommon. Jesus. I heard that from Kyle Farnsworth at TY's till 4. Allegedly. Ties till 4. Okay.
I need to know what she looks like. I'm curious now. What year was it? Like, what year was that?
Well, you look up what year it was, Steven. I'm going to go ahead and defend my intelligence. I graduated with a 3.86 GPA, cum laude. Thank you very much. And like I said, we may not be that smart, but I got to defend myself a little bit here.
Yeah. I graduated the same for both of my degrees. So, damn, we did a lot on the Cubs. Let's do a couple minutes on the White Sox, so that's all they deserve.
They suck.
Yeah, they do. They completely suck. It's a rebuild. Let's be honest, it's a rebuild.
Play the song because Ivan's here.
All right. Do it. Come on.
White Sox. Go, White Sox. Let's go, White Sox.
All right, I don't want to get YouTube to take us down.
That's it. That's the reason why.
Because you guys love hearing the other song. Is it on this? I think I should have it on here. Do I have it on here? I thought I did. I thought I had your guys' song on here. But definitely the White Sox finally got a win this week. But with that, they got their one player less, with Andrew Benintendi taking a ball, 97-mile-an-hour ball to the wrist, breaking his wrist. He's out 46 weeks. So yeah, they're going to be down. But they did sign your boy that was on the Cubs, Chicago native Mike Tauchman. He should fill in, and I believe he's going to be leading off for the White Sox. I think he's a good addition, a good veteran. He can hit. He can, Ribby's a good defensive player, so he'll be out fine. Lou Bob is still going to be platooning the center field. And whoever they put in left field is whoever they put in left field. But essentially, for me right now, it's going to see move up the kids that are able to move up, see what they can do at the major league level. If they can swim, great, keep them. If they can't, send them down and continue to build that farm system that did very well last year. The Double-A team, I think the Barons won their championship or whatever in the minor leagues, and now they're all Triple-A guys. So we shall see what's going to happen. They have like 7 catchers now, which is, I think it's important to have a good catcher. But at the same time, like,
can you guys trade one for the Cubs?
We could. We've done a lot of trades, man.
Whatever be like the epitome for the Cubs.
All right.
Are we gonna have our annual bet, like we usually do?
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'm down for the bet. Let me see. Let me put a cricket commercial up out here.
I need to take a photo. Well, yeah, you're supposed to get a Cubs hat, but the one you had didn't fit, so we never did that. I
wasn't gonna get a Cubs hat. I wore a Cubs jersey. I wore my Sandberg jersey.
I didn't see it. You didn't send me a photo. You didn't post it on here anywhere.
Oh God. Okay. All right. We'll do that. We'll do that. All right.
But
anyways, what is your bet?
Okay.
What is your bet?
No, I'm just saying, like, are we gonna make it about me betting on the White Sox? How many games? You
want to bet the White Sox? Go ahead.
Or like last year was if the Cubs were gonna hit 90 wins,
and they did not.
They did not. So I was right. So I'm 2 for 2.
Okay, so you're going for 3 for 3. Here we go. What is your bet on the White Sox?
I was. Which one do you want me to pick? The White Sox or the Cubs? I'm asking.
No, I want you to pick the White Sox. Pick the White Sox.
Okay, I'll say wins for them. I think they're gonna have under. I say under 40 wins.
I'll take the over.
Okay.
I'll take the over.
I'll say under 40.
Taking the over.
Yeah, it's a very rare situation here. Very rare. I think they could possibly get 50, but I'm gonna gamble with this one because I want to live life on the edge with this one.
You think they'll be worse than last season?
No.
I think so.
I don't think so because you have a manager.
How many wins did they have last season?
They had 121 losses. Do the math.
I can't do it.
Oh my God, 41 wins, bro.
Okay, games. All right, so then let me retract it. Okay, I'll give them under 50. I'll do that. I'll take that. Under 50
okay,
wins.
So I got to get 51 wins and I win the bet. Perfect.
Yes.
Make it 46.
Oh, you take the 46. I'm saying under 50.
I will still take the 51 wins. I'll stick to
Okay.
What are we betting?
What do you want? My soul, my life, my assets. Because I don't got much, man.
You don't got none of those, bro. You don't have a soul. You don't have a life.
No.
I want none of those. Let's do a hat.
Okay. That's
a fitted hat from Lids. Boom. Yeah. So that's like $50, right? There we go.
There you go. $50 for 50 wins. That's There
See?
You go.
See what I did there?
51 wins.
51 wins.
The road to 51.
Hey, man, I'll be counting down those wins. I'm going to have a chart right here counting it down. Pacoda has them at 61.5 wins. I think with Will Venable at the helm, being under Bruce Bochy's umbrella, I think that they'll be stressing more fundamentals. You're going to see them they'll be losing more close games. I know they've been getting blown out during the preseason, but you're also having your A players and AA players getting work in. And that's how the Cubs have been feasting on a lot of these teams because they're putting those teams. And nothing wrong with that. These guys are trying to get their swing in there. And then we all know that a lot, especially I know with the White Sox, the Latin players always have trouble in April because it's cold. They don't like it. Alexi Ramirez always started slow. Jose Abreu started slow.
Excuses for those Browns, I'm telling you.
Whoa.
I will say this.
I'm cold too. I'm in my house in a jacket. I'm freezing.
I will say this, Bruce. I don't gamble a lot. I gamble with my life every day, so that's a big thing for me. My life decisions, as you can tell. Life decisions.
Steven's favorite game is a gunshot or?
Yeah, it's Steven Roulette. Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Cricket Commish got a good one on there. Good. I think they said the White Sox are going to be able to carry their preseason wins into the regular season. Hey man, we'll take every damn win.
Yeah,
we
that's
can
a good
get.
one.
That is a good one. So they'll carry you maybe 3 wins. All right, great. Thanks.
Do they have like some type of stipulation where because I know the draft is in like what July?
It's the All-Star game. Around the All-Star game.
Yeah, around the All-Star game. So do you think they'll have any type of stipulations on how teams are going to go about getting these draft picks now, or is there already some stipulations?
You can't tank more than once. If you tank once, fine. You get up there and you tank again. You can't get higher than I think it's 10th.
Okay,
so that's why.
How do they judge? My question is, how do they judge tanking? Like, if you just suck, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you just you suck, how do you judge? Like, how is that?
They should have literally gave.
You know what I mean? Like if your team can't fucking play and they're not good, how is that tanking?
No, I understand that. Yeah, definitely the White Sox should have got 3 first-round draft picks because they have a horrible owner, a horrible GM, a horrible manager that just sat there and did nothing, and then every player was just like not showing up, taking naps, drinking in the bag, smoking in the bag. I mean, fake injuries. Like, it was a clown show, a circus last year with Pedro Grifol. Who Jesus? Oh my God, what a joke! Let's see.
Never mention.
I think they should institute like a rule for like.
Yeah, again.
Sorry, I was gonna say I think they should institute a rule of like, how do we know you're tanking? Like, if you're not spending at least this much in salary cap, like we're just gonna assume you're trying to tank. Because like we have the floor, so it's like, all right, like we know the floor is the base, but like, all right, if you're not spending like 20% above the floor. Like you're in that, like we think you're tanking.
Well, then it would be literally every year the Pirates, the Marlins. Let's see who else thinks like that.
But again, that would make teams have to spend more than just the floor.
I'm down with that. They should have a floor. They should definitely have a floor. If you're taking money from the luxury tax because you couldn't make it, or you're not spending money to be competitive, but you're taking luxury money. So you're getting money from the Dodgers, even though they're making hand over fist over there, and they're also spending it, but you're not doing it. You're not putting a good product out there. It hurts the overall product, and you're making money over it years after years. Same thing with the Cubs. You're going to cry poor after you invested your money that you were making off the Cubs into the neighborhood, and now you say, oh no, that's a separate ledger. We can't use that money for the Cubs to spend money on players. We can't use it to make renovations on the stadium. That's part of a different tax line. Actually, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways.
I saw something yesterday that they're tearing down 3 of the buildings on Sheffield and building like a 19 unit condo or apartment building, and then they're going to put pickleball courts on the roof. Like, wait, pickleball courts, not stands. What are we doing? All right, yeah,
that's
Well, I know where I'm not moving. So it's just, I just don't understand. So like, they basically are going to is there going to be? I'm sure there are going to be rules. Like, you can't have a bunch of stands on top of the roof now, but like, wouldn't it be the same if you just invited a bunch of people up and said, "Hey, stand on my fucking balcony for a bunch, a couple $100?" You know what I mean? Like, maybe you get 10 people. I know there's a weight restriction, but if all those people in those condos rent out their little space, they can make some money. Whoever the fuck owns it. But still,
I bet you there's they're gonna have something in that contract where they can't Airbnb it. I bet.
Oh, for sure. But like my whole thing is just why I don't understand why they're putting pickleball courts on the roof rather than stands.
It's a fad.
Yeah,
it's just a bad fad.
I do have another question as a more of an NFL guy on this podcast. Mm-hmm. Why is it MLB cannot trade draft picks?
I think that might have changed recently. I don't think they just don't do it. That might have changed recently, and I'll look that up and I'll bring that back.
Like, at the trade deadline, like, yeah, we're trading this prospect or whatever, but it's like, why? Like, you can't trade future picks for, Chapman. Like when we were, going for the World Series, like why? It's always weird that it's like you have to trade a prospect that's already in your system versus draft picks.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but also they kind of do the player to be named later kind of thing, and sometimes, well, a lot of the times, it does really hit when it's that player to be named later does end up being a pretty good player for you. I'll look into that and I'll report back on that, but I'm pretty sure that did change recently, so it would make it more exciting if there was more trades during, if you kind of, in my opinion, you should start off the All-Star weekend with, we're going to do the draft. And yeah, there might be trades going on during that time. And you may trade draft picks to try to get up there. And you trade Lubob for three number ones, right? Or whatever it may be. I'm not saying he's worth 3 number ones, but that's an example. And then boom, then you have your futures game. Then you have your home run contest. Then you have your All-Star game. Now you have 4 or 5 days of lots of content. You've got to follow in the way of the NFL where they make it. Yeah, Crooked Commish, there is a lot of rounds in baseball. Yeah, this is definitely a lot of rounds, but there's 30 teams, so there's a lot of that. I know I got crap on that the other day. Was it a month ago when I said there was 32 teams, and I was like, dude, I was on a rant. Relax, I was pissed off. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with our Madhouse on Madison report, and we'll talk about our Bulls and Blackhawks. So we're gonna listen to Stevie B on his voiceover over here.
Hey there, Chicago enthusiasts. Are you ready to take your fandom to the next level? The True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast has got you covered with some serious cool merch that screams Chicago pride. From cozy sweaters to trendy tank tops, we got it all. Show off your love for the city with our iconic red, white, and blue logo, or stand out with our exclusive collection for the love of sports. Whether you're lounging at home, breaking a sweat at the gym, or cheering on your team at a game, our gear is a must-have for all you diehard Chicago sports fans out there. Don't hesitate. Visit bonfire.com/store/606-media-store/ or simply just click the link in the description and snag your gear ASAP. Get ready to make some noise, show your pride, and embrace the Chicago spirit with True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast merch. Designed for you, the ultimate fan, for the love of sports.
What up? It's Martin Moreno, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with Big Z in the house. We got JC Dynasty Fantasy Football. We got Ivan from the Tape Never Lies, and Stevie B from the No Water Weekend podcast. But it is time to talk about the Madhouse on Madison and the teams that play there. Let's start off with the unbullable Chicago Bulls, and that's all I'm playing for because they don't deserve that song.
It's
Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, it's not their song.
That is not their song. It is not their song. I don't know why they continue to use that at the beginning because, oh my God, that's a trash team. Vooch is out with a calf strain. Patrick Williams, he's been injecting something into his knee to make it better, platelets, something like that. And now Io had a shoulder injury and it's going to have surgery and be shut down for the rest of the year. He's also got 1 year left on his contract, so something to watch. He's averaging about 12 to 13 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. A good player. I think they should keep Io. Patrick Williams, you can trade him for a bag of hot chips. Vooch, we should have traded him a long time ago, and we're probably going to let him walk for nothing. This team can't tank right. The other day, they went to overtime and won, and then the other night, they lost. They're still in the 10th spot. They might make the playoffs. Not everybody talking about that.
I mean, honestly, if that's what it looks like, I mean, they have great pieces in some of the players, like Giddey, the rookie. But I mean, you want to be able to grow if you're going to continue to grow up the ladder. But I don't know. you're right. They can't lose correctly, right? They're still selling seats. People are still going to the games. People are still wearing the merch. People are, still happy, I guess, going. I mean, I'll watch some of it sometimes, but it's just hard to watch. It's like,
They were down 40 dancing in the stands the other night. I don't know if anybody has seen that clip that's gone viral. They're doing some type of happy dance or whatever it was. And yeah, we're getting our asses kicked 70 whatever to 20 or 30 or whatever it was. But are you excited? Oh, we could scratch our way into the playoffs some way, somehow. Are you excited? Like, are you excited for this sweep in the first round, or not even in the first round?
In the play-in game,
you'll have to get into the play-in. You'll just get blown out in the play-in. You'll say, oh well, we were right there, making with the playoff. No, you're not. No, you're not. This is a top-heavy league, man. Like, you can't. Basketball for me, I don't know. I've become disenchanted. I've become disinterested. I've become just kind of jaded altogether with it, man. Like, if you don't want to play with all your friends, or if you don't want to have a super team, you got to have like certain things go your way. Everybody's getting paid $1 billion, so they all have a fucking ego. It's a weird dynamic, man. Like, there's nobody out there that's really like, there's no storylines. You know what I mean? In basketball, there really isn't. When LeBron leaves, like, I feel like that's when basketball could maybe, hopefully, find its way back again, like its own timeline again. Because I feel like we're in this weird timeline of superstars and this player empowerment where I think we've gone too far, and it's ruined the product. And we got teams just doing one or two things out there on the court. Everything's fucking predictable. You're jacking up threes at a crazy fucking rate. You're damn near. I wouldn't be shocked if a team puts up 300 points one of these days. I'm serious. Like, I am 100% serious. And then what? You see a 300-point game in the NBA. To me, that's not good.
You're talking about combined or by one team?
No, by one team.
Oh my God!
I think it can happen. I truly believe it'll happen one day. And like, to me, what product? You have a diluted product.
Very much a diluted product, as you've seen. And if you don't know, the players hold all the cards in the NBA, as you've seen. Like, who wants to be traded and who wants to be traded where. Kevin Durant already said that he's going to facilitate a trade at the end of the season to get out of Phoenix. Dude, you literally just left Phoenix from Brooklyn, and it's just I don't get it how it's become AAU. I'm not winning here. Okay, I'm gonna go hang out with my other friends. It's bad. It's bad for the NBA. I really think that these owners, when it comes to the next CBA, they should be a lot stricter with saying, you signed a contract, you're going to play during this contract. You can't be like Anthony Rendon and play 25 games for me, and I still got to pay you the next 8 seasons so much money. Nah, that's ridiculous. If you're not playing, if you don't meet a game requirement in a contract, we're going to start docking you for not coming into work. It's simply just like JC gets docked, just like I would get docked, just like you would get docked if you didn't go to work after you used your PTO, right?
That's why I don't have a job.
Yeah, that's why.
There was a funny stat I saw, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was like a stat of how much money Joel Embiid has made in his contracts while sitting out. And it was like $100 million of like his contract has been paid while he's been sitting out. Like, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was one of those where I was just like, how can teams do this?
Ben Simmons, Kawhi Leonard,
yes,
and Zion, all these players again. And while I understand it takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of work to get into the pros, but I also still think that these contracts should be very short term, 2 to 3 years. If you're going to be moving around anyways, there's no reason to sign a player for more than 3 years. and say, you know what? It's incentive based. You want extra money? Play well. You want extra money? Play all 82 games. You want extra money? Be part of the slam dunk competition. You want extra money? Win the All-Star game. Playoff appearances. It's got to be incentive based, because by the time they get to the NBA, it's all a lap of luxury. They're making all this money. They get to go and do whatever they want to do. I don't feel like playing back-to-backs. I don't feel like playing in Charlotte because they're trash. It's like, no. What about the hard-paying mom, single mom or single dad that took his kids out to see you come in, trash their team? Like, when Kobe would come into town, you best believe we were trying to get tickets to go see Kobe demolish the Bulls, right? Because you see, when a team has a good player, you want to go see them because you respect the league, you respect the players, but there's no respect for the fans. There's no respect for the fans and what they're putting into the product.
To me, there needs to be a lockout, and let's see how these guys go without some paychecks for a while. Let's see if they can make their mortgage payments. Let's see if they can pay for their Lambos and their lifestyle without a paycheck for a while.
Speaking of not paying,
the owners need to get control again, because it's become like Jimmy Butler forced his way out. Like,
and he hasn't paid his mortgage or his rent from Miami.
Oh my God.
He literally just took all his stuff, left, and did not pay whatever he had to pay out there.
And Kirk could commit 300. It is a little ridiculous, but like, let's be real. Like there it has become a little ridiculous. You know what I mean? A lot of the NBA and how it's being played is like, I don't know. Maybe I'm too old.
I look at the NBA now as the Harlem Globetrotters without the entertainment aspect. Like there's no defense being played by the Generals. You know what I mean? Like, the Globetrotters just chucking up, crazy shots. And like I said, like, that's how I look at the NBA now. It is like there's no defense. It's just all offense. And I mean, like, but there's no entertainment on the court. Like, to me, it just looks worse because the NBA guys aren't making the crazy shots that the Globetrotters normally do.
I mean, not if you watch Luka or Steph. Those guys are making crazy shots.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I'm talking like half court hook shots, by the Globetrotters, where, like I said, like, you go watch the Bulls team miss 25 threes in a game. Like,
that's on the low end.
And then the other team runs to the other end of the court, chucks up at 3, and then it's just back and forth. Like, there is no, like, they just miss. There's no rebounding. There's no offensive or defensive rebounding. There's nothing. It's just chuck up a 3, run the other way. Chuck up a 3, run the other way. Like, I can't watch it.
I will say this: the team that I thought that had a lot of heart, that had a lot of rookies and different mismatched players, was the Bulls in 09 and 10 with Luol Deng, Taj Gibson. Rose was there.
Bench Bob.
Noah. Yeah. And you had all these different pieces that actually worked together as a team, and they went to the playoffs. I think they were the 8th seed. They had to play the first overall team, which was the Celtics. Kirk Heinrich, they got a scuffle with Rajon Rondo. Like, that was a heated playoff game, and you don't see that anymore, like, with the Bulls players anymore. It's just, again, like, no, I'm just here to clock in. I don't see that fire or that camaraderie like from that team. You
literally have like the replacements on the Bull right now. All these players from different teams that you just put them mashed together with your players, and now your players feel lost. Like, Kobe hasn't had a good game since they brought in all these players, and now Giddey's the ball handler. I used to be the ball handler. Like, there's so much switching of roles, and it feels like no one really knows what they're supposed to be doing on the Chicago Bulls. I really don't think Billy Donovan is that great of a coach. I think he's super overrated. They brought him in here to try to win, and then they're like, oh, we're going to go younger, and he can coach younger players. Well, not really, because they got rid of him in Oklahoma City when they went young. So is he really a good coach with young players? No, I really don't see that. Let's see. Bruce is chiming in. People watch the money is there. I am a pro player. Owners making billions. more than okay. More doesn't.
Yeah, so
make
I
the
think
sports
that
better.
was a take where, what Bruce is saying is because I basically said, like, the owners need more control. And I didn't mean that the owners need more money. What I meant is, like, they need to have the ability to, not punish, but hold Jimmy Butler or Joel Embiid or whoever to their account. You know what I mean? It's one of those where it like Jimmy Butler got exactly what he wanted in this. Like he
He
got
did,
traded.
which is weird because Pat Riley fined him over and over and over, and then still sent him to a competitive team. That made no sense to me. Like, he should have sent him to, I don't know, Seattle.
No, I would have sent him home and been like, "Don't come back, and I'm going to keep fining you until the season's over. I'm not going to give you what you want. You're going to go sit at home. I'm not going to trade you to another team that's has the potential to win."
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, Joel Embiid. Hey, if you want to sit out half the games that you signed a contract for, guess what? I'm just going to go ahead and even though you claim it's injury, I'm going to find something in your contract that I'm going to recoup half that money. Because the bottom line is,
no, go ahead, Jesse.
No, go ahead, Ivan.
No, I was going to say, I could see guys, and it's kind of to your point, I could see guys wanting to leave and going to Jimmy Butler. I could see this more and more where they want to be forced to these competitive. They want to be forced off these teams that aren't competitive, regardless of their contract, to go to competitive teams that season, and it be just like this toss around. Like I could see how like these players just wanted to be like, all right, if we're not winning here, I want to go over here like immediately. Like that's kind of what they're shooting for. They want to go to a competitive team right here, right now, regardless of what this team's that they're on needs or plan for them are. It's I don't know. The NBA is in a weird spot right now.
Yeah, and I like I said, that's where I come in as like a no nonsense, hard headed person as well. If I was the GM or owner, I'd be like, go home. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not trading you. Go sit at home, and we'll recoup our money, and we will just fine you until, you know what I mean? And then when your contract's up, how many years of your contract do we have left? 2 years? Great. We'll see you in 2 years. We're just going to keep fining you for 2 years until you have no money left in the contract. And we'll go, it's one of those, again, there has to be some sort of accountability for these players. I don't know how they do it. Again, I think there needs to be a lockout, and there needs to be something instituted in the rules of the NBA about these guys who sit out constantly, that don't play doubles or, won't play back-to-backs. They won't, like, again, the fact that Joel Embiid has made $100 million while sitting out, like, how is that productive to the sport? How is it productive to the NBA that all these future, people who are coming into the NBA, like, they don't care. They're like, oh, I'm here to make millions. And then, like, I'm out, deuces. Like, they don't care about the game.
Yeah, they really don't. And I have twofold thought right here. You have players like Ben Simmons who like, oh, I don't care what your team doctor says. I'm going to go to my team doctor, and I'm going to go based on that. And it's like, no, we hired professionals that, that are highly regarded, and they're going to evaluate you. And they say, you're good to go. You're good to go. And it should be that. It should be like, no, I'm going to talk to my mommy, and if she don't write me a note, I can't go back to school. Like, you can't be doing that. No, you're under contract. You're a professional. Be a professional. Show up to work and do your damn job. Second of all,
and don't get me wrong, like there's instances like we dealt with Lonzo, right?
Right.
Where he kept complaining like, no, something's not right. Well, I'm not in your body. I can't tell you if your body's right or wrong. You know if your body's right or wrong. However, the Bulls recouped some of that money, because he wasn't playing. And it's one of those where, like I said, for Joel Embiid, for Jimmy Butler, for these guys that want to be locker room cancers, there has to be something in the rules for these GMs and the owners to get their money back. To be if you don't play 70% of the games, I'm not giving you your full money. Where, and that's part of the whole, contracts fully guaranteed, etc. But something needs to change.
There is in professional sports. I'm not sure if it's specifically in the NBA. I know in MLB, the owners can take an insurance policy on a contract. If they don't produce, whatever, if they're not playing, they can collect on the insurance policy. Here's a perfect example. Again, I mentioned earlier, Anthony Rendon. He's played 63, 65 games this entire time. It came out today that he's going to have hip surgery and he's out for the rest of the season already. The owner did not want to take a insurance policy, knowing what happened with Fat Albert that went over to the A's, right? With the Angels, I'm sorry. And you don't do that when you sign another player for 10 years or whatever his contract is. Like that's just dumb on you, right? If you're signing a player for 7 to 10, 11, 13 years, especially in the MLB, you better be taking an insurance policy on that to make sure you get your money if that player is not showing up. Because if they're not showing up, they're not playing, which means you're not going to the playoffs. You're not doing well. Merchandise isn't selling. People are not coming to the game. People are not watching. It's a trickle-down effect. If your star player that you signed is not showing up, we don't have any star players on the Bulls, but people just go because it's a fun time. And, pretty soon, like Bruce said, Jerry's World is going to be there with green space and this, that, and concerts and this and that. Look over here. Don't look over there. Don't look behind the curtain. Look over here. Or, everything's pretty over here. Don't look behind the curtain where the product is pretty crappy. And again, there, like JC said, there has to be a lockup, make these players accountable for what they need to do to be a better product for the fans. At the end of the day, it's for the fans.
Can we talk about the other team now?
Yeah, let's transition over to the Chicago Blackhawks.
All right, guys. All right. So positive news at the Madhouse. Okay, so the Blackhawks on Saturday night got this blockbuster trade. In my eyes, I think we won, honestly, because we traded with the Florida Panthers. The Panthers acquired Jones 30 and a 2026 fourth round draft pick. Now, Jones has a lot in his contract, so for them to take it, for the Panthers to take that kind of contract, it helps us.
I believe it's $9.5 million contract. The Blackhawks are paying 2.5 for the next 5 years, so they're paying $10 million out of it.
Yeah, so Jones makes 9.5, right? And we're taking 2.5, right? Correct. But Spencer Knight is 23, and we also have a 2026 conditional first round draft pick.
Right.
So I will take that. That's how you do drafting and trades. You get assets for a number one draft pick if you get rid of someone. Like for the Bears, they don't know anyway. But beside the point, I think it's a great trade. I think he is a superstar, up and coming goalie. I know him to be 23 years old. He's still learning, and he's going to be a backup for a little bit. But I don't know if he's going to get some playing time. But yeah,
he's been in the league about 5 years. He's taken some time off with some mental issues. He suffered from OCD, if I remember that correctly, and he took some time off. He was also, I think, drafted either 12th or 13th. So he's a first round draft pick goalie. So again, he's got not a lot of miles on him. He'll come in the backup role, and if he plays well, then he'll start. And I really think this is a great trade because you traded Seth Jones, who did not want to be here, was insignificant to us, in my opinion, with the Blackhawks. And you're getting a conditional first-round pick. We'll take every conditional or regular first-round pick we can get because the Blackhawks do draft very well when it comes to drafting. Ivan, any Blackhawks thoughts on that one?
Well, I mean, thinking of.
Sorry about that.
About what?
He fell off the screen.
Oh, you fell. Yeah, just thinking about how the Hawks can now, again, continue to add pieces around Bedard, continue to add Seth Jones. He's a good player. It wasn't working here.
Mm-hmm.
The Hawks need a lot more right now, I think, than first thought. You had a goalie, you had a first round draft pick, I feel like we're in a very good position to continue to build and add youth and some more defense that can help the Blackhawks go ahead and become a very, very prosperous team. But I just, right now they're not the Bulls, thank God, but they're not ready to go ahead and be that team that takes the next step. I think they're about 1 or 2 more years away from really taking a big jump.
I'd say next year. I think next season they might be pretty close evenly with wins and losses. And like right now, they're winning 2-1 against the Kings. And they're playing right now at the Madhouse, and they play, I think, Wednesday, I think it is. But or correct me if I'm wrong.
For them to lose.
You know what? I don't care if they lose. I see great things on the field. I have fun at Blackhawks games, even though. Also, I noticed my Blackhawks jersey actually has the clips, like when you could put through your belt, like it's an actual athletic jersey. Like there's a clip in the back, like where if you like untuck them. So I was like, man, if I start wearing that, I'm gonna clip it on myself, so no one I feel authentic in a way.
So no one can flip it over your head and beat you up.
Yeah, exactly. So,
okay.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited. I think they're going to do great things. I think next year. I hope so. I'm hopeful about that. We've said many times on the podcast, they have a way and a path of where they're going to. It's not looking like all different ways, left, right, center, like the U.S. map. It's not like that. They have the Golden Gate or Golden, what is it? The Wizard of Oz. Yellow Brick Road. They have that. What they have, yeah. So I'm excited to see how they're doing, but they're not playing well as of late. But if they win tonight, that'd be great.
You want them to tank. You want them to get a high pick.
But I also don't want to get Connor all upset, because he looks miserable sometimes these days, like on the bench. So
it's a process. Kane and Taves didn't win all, when they first came up. It's a process, and especially it's a harder process in hockey because they have that hard cap. And there's not a lot of money. I think their cap's like 85, 86 million, and it doesn't go up very much every year. So definitely it's a harder sport to build a championship team and to keep a championship team. And that's why you'll see those contracts that are like 7 years long for 30 million. Like it's not a lot of money. It's just the way that sport is, and I wish that those guys should be getting paid a little bit more.
Absolutely, they take hits.
They take hits. They get into fights. They play
hurt.
Defense. They play hurt. Yeah, those are tough SOBs. So definitely, those guys should be getting paid more.
Well, it is nice. We finally might have a goalie that we might know the name of.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Ever since Crawford, it's been a carousel of goalies that I don't know their names. And, I've kind of said for years that we needed goalie and defensive help. So,
yes.
To get a kid that's 23 years old as a goalie, I believe he was the backup to.
Yeah. Yes, he was. Yes.
So, like I said, it's like the Bulls situation. You get a young guy, give him more playing time, because who we have here in Chicago, I don't think is going to stop him from getting time on the ice.
No, absolutely not.
So it's one of those where hopefully, 23-year-old kid can become something. And we got a first round pick. So it's one of those where, hey, that's another piece to help out Connor in the long run. I believe it was conditional, correct?
Correct.
So we'll see what the conditions are and if we actually get that first round pick. But, the best way to help Connor is to continue to build around him. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is getting first round picks and getting rid of some of these guys that have some hefty salaries that, frankly, it's not panning out here with the Blackhawks. So why not move on and get what we can, and keep continuing to build younger and faster, or like watching some of these games, I've said for years, the Blackhawks even back in the day, like, we had the Bufflins, we had some of those guys, but we really don't have a lot of size on the Blackhawks.
We don't.
It's
do
a lot
not.
of, quote unquote, smaller skill guys than like big defensemen that are going to put you in the boards and wear you out, in a 3 period. So to me, that's one thing I would love to see with the Blackhawks is start to get some of these big bruisers that are just going to put a beating on, opposing teams.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. We've seen what the Team USA did. We need some of those bruisers to come over here and play for us. So if we can get those, that'd be great. Let's take a quick break, real quick, and we'll be right back, and we'll talk and finish up with our Chicago Bears. Ivan and JC's favorite sport, which is football. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Look at Caleb.
Hey there, Chicago enthusiasts. Are you ready to take your fandom to the next level? The True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast has got you covered with some serious cool merch that screams Chicago pride. From cozy sweaters to trendy tank tops, we got it all. Show off your love for the city with our iconic red, white, and blue logo, or stand out with our exclusive collection for the love of sports. Whether you're lounging at home, breaking a sweat at the gym, or cheering on your team at a game, our gear is a must-have for all you diehard Chicago sports fans out there. Don't hesitate. Visit bonfire.com/store/606-media-store/, or simply just click the link in the description and snag your gear ASAP. Get ready to make some noise, show your pride, and embrace the Chicago spirit with True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast merch. Designed for you, the ultimate fan, for the love of sports. Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
Yeah, welcome back to the TCFS podcast. Oh, Stevie B. Jesus, Stevie B.
Well, we said we were going to come back and take a couple of shots, so I was just already.
My goodness. Oh, my goodness.
No.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. We got JC in the house. We got Stevie B from No Water Weekend. Ivan's taking a little break. We'll be right back in a little second. All right, we got someone chiming in for the Blackhawks. I know we're done with the Blackhawks, but we'll give you the opportunity to chime in. Defense is the biggest issue, and lane control. They need a coach with a defensive background, and they have 0 centers above 20% off the face-off dot. When you're a puck managing team, you need to win draws. Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree with you more, Frank. Thanks for chiming in. Let's talk about our Chicago Bears. I think we got a sounder for that one. I think we do. 3 and out. Yeah, we'll do that one. Let's do 3 and out. All right, boom, baby, boom. The Chicago Bears. It's an exciting time for the Chicago Bears. The combine's going on right now, so Chicago Bears are studying a bunch of players, seeing what they can do, what they can't do. Free agency starts, I believe, next week, right, JC?
I'm sorry.
Free agency is the 9th or 10th.
Yeah, it's in the next week or 2 weeks.
I think it's next week. But definitely, there's been a lot of news in the NFL. People getting franchise tag, people signing, people are about to get released. Do you want to talk about that, JC, or you got anything on that?
I mean, T Higgins was announced today that he was franchise tagged. A lot of people think that it might be a sign and trade kind of deal. That the Cincinnati's just not going to let him walk for nothing. Other than that, we can also talk about the gentleman that the Bears and all of us had hoped that we would have a chance of signing was franchise tagged by the Kansas City Chiefs. And we have unfortunately been screwed over by the cap increase of $20-something million, because as soon as that salary cap increase happened, the first words that are out of my mouth, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to re-sign him, because we talked about it. Landon Dickerson is the top paid offensive guard in the NFL. What was his salary? $21 million a year. What did the salary cap go up? $20 million a year. Guess what? That allows the Kansas City Chiefs to re-sign Trey Smith perfectly in that $20 million range, screwing the Bears over. And now we're left with, options C and D. Ivan, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's hard to be angry at something that never was actually ours. You know what I mean? Like I wish it would have worked out, but I hope that he wasn't. I hope that he wasn't the end all be all for their plans this offseason, because you need to add talent regardless. It's more than just Trey Smith, and Trey Smith would have been a huge upgrade. Don't get me wrong, but now it's just okay. Pivot, figure the next thing out. Whether it be draft, you still have the opportunity to sign the best center that's out there in Dahlman. You missed the Trey Smith. I want to see this this relentless pursuit that I feel that Kevin Warren has alluded to. As soon as they picked up Ben Johnson, that they're going to be aggressive in free agency, that they're going to get after it. Okay, well, the first domino pretty much dropped before free agency. Trey Smith's gone, right? Now where do you go? You still got to be aggressive. You still got, but when we say be aggressive, I don't mean be reckless. But if you have the opportunity with a guy like Dahlman, with his credentials, his background, go ahead and pull it, because you've already missed out on one. And granted, it's not your fault. Shit happens. I didn't see the cap going up $20 million. I'm not paying attention to the cap. I'm not a cap guy. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be able to be aggressive right away, because you lost out on something, regardless if it was, if it wasn't meant to be or not. Like I just feel like for them, still be aggressive, still have that mentality. Don't fucking be squeamish because you didn't get maybe the guard that you wanted or whatever. Go find the center that you need, and see if you could maybe find a guy at that guard position that can help you out, whether it be the draft or free agency.
Yeah, there's still some guards out there. There's obviously Tevin Jenkins that can be brought back. This draft, I mean, there are so many options available to us. You got Will Campbell, potentially, whether or not he falls to us at 10, we'll see. He came in with some shorter arms than expected.
He loves saying that.
He came in, you want your tackles to have roughly 33 to 34 or longer arms, and he came in at 32 and 5/8. He's a little tall to be a guard. He's 6'6". Usually you want your guards to be like 6'4", just because, when you have Caleb, who's 6 foot, 6'1", it gets a little hard to see over a 6'6" guy, in the interior. But I definitely agree. I mean, I had hoped that the salary cap would go up, somewhere between 8 and 13 million. We probably still would have had a chance, Trey Smith, if the salary cap had been, in that range. The fact that it hit 20 million, there's nothing we can do about it. Unfortunately, that allowed the Kansas City Chiefs to franchise tag him and potentially work out a deal with him long term. That said, this particular draft, we are in a perfect position with those 2 second rounders to grab a Will Campbell, Josh Simmons, Marcus Membu in the first round, and then in the second round still end up with a potential edge rusher and another interior offensive lineman. Your Josh Connolly Jr.'s, your I'm blanking on some of the other names. Embo, Ursery. Then in round 3 at pick 72, the guy I'm looking at, he had a glorious mullet running the 40. He ran a 4.98 40 with that mullet just flowing. Tate Ratledge would be there potentially at pick 72. He plays right guard for Georgia as it is, so he could potentially fit right in. Or like I said, depending on what Tevin Jenkins, what his how do I say what he's worth on the free market, you might be able to bring Tevin Jenkins back. But like I said, there's plenty of ways to go right now. I do want to put a defensive tackle in there next to Jervon Dexter. One of the edge rushers that I was hoping would be there in the second round blew up the combine this weekend with a 10 out of 10 RAS score. Shamar Stewart. He probably has now worked himself from a second rounder all the way into a top 20 pick now. So unfortunately, there's still plenty of ways for the Bears to go to fix our trenches, but we're going to have to wait and see now. And that all starts with free agency. Let's see what we do there.
Speaking of free agency, I want to throw out a couple of names that's been hitting the news. One, Khalil Mack has expressed interest in rejoining the Bears. Obviously, like we said this off air, but he would be in a rotation role. He wouldn't be so much like
right. And I mentioned this last week. Yeah, it has to be a minor league small.
Yeah, I think right now he's seeing like, let me join a team that can win. The other player, funny enough, is Joey Bosa, who's about to be cut from the Chargers because looks like they're trying to save $25.36 million against the cap. So it looks like he might be a cap casualty.
Really, that would be interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, we got those two names. You also have Josh Sweat from the Eagles. So you have defensive end possibilities out of those three. What is the most likely, or who is on your wish list there?
Josh Sweat would be a nice addition. But if Bosa is out there and available, I believe he's had some injury history, but I mean, he's still super young. He had the talent coming out. I believe he was a first round pick. So, I mean, he could definitely be interesting, but I mean, there's so many guys out there. One name I threw out there was Zadarius Smith, who used to play for the Packers. Last year played for Detroit. He's very familiar with our division and the way that the guards and everybody play and tackles play in our division. He's 31 or 32. So it's one of those, you might be able to get him on a pretty good deal, get him in a rotation with Sweat and like maybe a younger prospect. So that's just my opinion. Ivan, what do you think about that?
No, I agree. I like the idea of Mack coming back, right? And then adding a young pass rusher in the draft, right? Then you have two veterans. You have a young guy, that can learn from them. Also, definitely would see an interior defensive lineman, whether that be, in that second part of the draft, second day, or, maybe they shock everybody and do what I hope that they do and trade down and kind of, kind of set their cast a wider net in the draft than they could if they just stood pat at 10, because I think there's going to be a run on tackle. Like the top end, it's a very top heavy. If you're going to go after a tackle, you're going to go after like the top, 3 guys, 3-4 guys. And then the other guys, I mean, you have guys that could definitely, help you. But if you're asking, and you're watching some of these mock drafts and some of these, draft guys, it just seems to me like these top tackles, like the top 3, possibly 4 tackles are, where it's at. And then after that, it's a crapshoot, right? After that, it's a crapshoot. Gray Zabel's not really a fucking tackle. He's probably going to be pushed inside, right? So you're looking at him as a guard or center. He'll probably be picked up like towards the end of the first round. But again, you have a lot of good defensive players that can possibly help you right here, right now. That I think you're going to see a big run on defense, probably around that mid first round area, where you're going to see some of the top guys being taken. You'll see some of these guys that were at the combine and that performed a little better, or at their pro days performed a little better, get picked up. So for me, I want the Bears to trade back, like I said. But if they were to go ahead and just stay pat at 10, I would hope that they'd go after a pass rusher before they go after an offensive lineman at this point. Like I could see, I don't see a guy that wows me 100% at tackle. I just don't. There's a few guys that are like, whoa, that guy could really make an impact for us on defense that are there in the first round. And, Genty, I think Genty's one of those, draft stories that gets thrown like that the wrench that gets thrown in the machine that everybody brings up, to get people thinking about. I think Genty will get picked up by a team that needs a running back. I think Dallas might be the perfect place for a guy like that. They have that big ego that let's go ahead and do this goofy ass shit because we're the Dallas Cowboys and we think we know everything. I could see that happening, but for the Bears, if they're going to stay pat at 10, I would like to see them choose a defensive player. If Graham falls to us at 10, Graham. If it's not Graham, Pierce or Green, if that's where you're going to go. But I really feel like you could still grab a good defensive player and add some more draft capital by trading back into that mid to late teen area where there's you still have offensive guys and defensive guys that are there, but you don't necessarily have to pay some of them top dollar, like top $10. Like I like Josh Simmons, for instance. He's probably the best tackle in the draft, but he has this injury issue, right? It's a big issue, so that's going to drop him. I can imagine that dropping him. It should drop him. Knowing or seeing how certain things go in the draft, I wouldn't be shocked. We'll say that. But like I said, you have in that area, I believe you'll have a bunch of guys that the Bears can definitely plug in and be successful with, and maybe not plug in, but develop and be successful with. Maybe one of these guys actually breaks out and is an instant impact and starter. But we need bodies. We need talent. And if we have a coaching staff like this that, has been around quality talent and has developed quality talent, well, let's get them some bodies to develop.
Yeah, they definitely have their work cut out for them. And there's a lot of players. I know you hit, both of you guys hit on a bunch of players, and there's a lot of possibilities. And I just think that right now, everything is contingent on what happens in free agency. And it looks like it starts the 12th. So 9 days from now. So it starts at 3 p.m. Central on the 12th. So whoever they spend money on, I think, will dictate what's going to happen in the draft. If they can address a lot of the defensive line with some veterans that are going to be there to supplement and help out, then I see them going and getting, that offensive tackle that we just talked about. And it could be Josh Simmons. I mean, I've seen a couple mock drafts where Josh Simmons has dropped down to 10th. Or if they go Mason Graham with, he's also projected at 11. So you're in that zone where you can do either one. They also have Shamar Stewart at 9. So I think they'll be in that scenario with those 3 players. But again, I think with the free agency and them literally talking about being a lot more aggressive and Ben Johnson at the helm, we're going to see what's going to happen with the Chicago Bears. So it's going to be very interesting. And again, there's nothing else going on with our Chicago teams to look forward to. I know baseball starting, I know Cubs should be okay, but the Bears is what galvanizes the city, and everybody is really interested. And now that the NFL is a year-round sport, I know all our Bear fans are very eager to see what happens.
Yeah, I'll just touch on this. The Ashton Genty, all that stuff that's being floated out there. To me, it's way too rich, of a thing to do. Like, we have so many issues in the trenches with this team that a running back is a luxury. To me, how about this? Instead of, if we have Swift, who's that fast scat back player, if you think we need more of a pounding rusher, which Roshan should have been last year, but we never used him properly. Okay, go sign me J.K. Dobbins. How about we do that? Instead of spending the 10 on Genty, we split it between Dobbins and Swift. And, we know Dobbins has an injury history. That's why Roshan is still here. Okay. To me, spending 10 on a running back is a luxury that we cannot afford right now. If you want to talk to me about some of these guys in round 2, like Henderson, etc., all right, I'll have the conversation with you. But I don't see us spending 10 on a running back. If anything, I'm with Ivan. Trade back from 10, get us into that 14, 15 range. Then I'm looking like Tyler Booker, who is like the best guard in the draft. Then I'm looking, Shamar Stewart. I'm looking at one of those guys, because Shamar Stewart, he's an animal. He's 6'5", 267 pounds. He has a RAS score, which is his athletic ability is a 10 out of 10 from the combine. The only downfall is that he only had three sacks in his like final season here. All right. Now, if you go back, he had 39 pressures. He is very good at getting to the quarterback. It's just he never really finishes and gets the sack. He's flushing the quarterback out of the pocket. He's very good at setting the edge, shedding the blocker, and getting a tackle for loss with running backs. He is very good at that. But it's one of those, he kind of lacks that elite getting to the quarterback. But like I said, we'll see what happens, in a week or whatever. That'll tell us, if we end up with the center from Atlanta, if we end up, picking up some other players, we'll see what happens. But, we have the cap space. We're sitting very good with 3 picks in the top 50, some of which can be traded back, pick up more picks. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Definitely be interesting. I wanted to close out with a little wrestling nugget. John Cena turning heel this past Sunday or Saturday at the Elimination Chamber. And if you're not a wrestling fan, it's okay. This will be short. John Cena, definitely a staple in wrestling for the past 20-something years, would never turn heel, which means he was never a bad guy. And then actually happened. It actually happened, people. And it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. There's a lot of great stories. The Rock is back doing his thing. There's some other familiar faces. Don't want to get too technical into the wrestling stuff, but definitely a surprise for people that grew up watching John Cena, and now he's going to be a villain. It's on right now. I'm going to go watch it later. But wrestling is back, people. Let me know what you think about John Cena turning heel, especially against the babyface Cody Rhodes, and now he looks like to be headlining WrestleMania. So, again, I know it got a little nerd moment there. There was also a moment in the beginning of the show on Saturday where because it was held in Toronto, that the Toronto fan base that was there was booing the national anthem again. So, just as JC's bread and butter, and he's still talking about it with a lot of vigor. JC, what's going on with your Canadian friends?
Oh, the whole booing of the national anthem, yeah, it's still going on. We talked about this. I think it was like 2 weeks ago now. I think the video clip was at 13,000 views. I don't know what it's at now. We're at 650 comments, probably pushing closer to 700. You know what? It's not going to get any better because, Trump announced today tariffs are happening. It's going down. So bottom line is expect more booing from the Canadians. But the bottom line is, as I told a lot of the Canadians in the comments, chant F Trump, don't boo the national anthem. It's just simple as that.
Sports and politics, keep them separate, just like religion. Just keep them out of each other. They don't mix. Just that, I hate when people try to mix politics with sports. It's like, I'm cheering for my team and my team only, and I hate your team or I hate your player. Just leave it at that. You don't have to take personal shots or political shots. Be knowledgeable about your sport and about your team, and have a adult conversation that way. You shouldn't have to resort to petty tactics.
Getting a little bit off that subject, I just want to make this really quick, and then we can go back to your thing. I know we're over time limit right now. Daredevil comes out tomorrow at 6 p.m. I'm thinking about doing a live stream nowhere on the weekend to watch the episode with you, to break it down and get my thoughts during it. I was going to talk to Big Z about it, but we'll go on, and if it happens, it happens. I know I'm going to do it on Twitch. I don't know if he wants to put on the 606 Media YouTube page, but I'm going to be watching it. Sean has a work call, or else he'd be sitting like somewhere right next to me, maybe back there on the casting couch. So it's gonna be a great time. So I'm gonna do that, and hopefully you watch it with me.
Yeah.
Just quickly, we got the real Bears fan going off in the comments here. Clearly not
the real Bears bitch is who he is. Because if this is Chris Foster, this is all he does. This guy has no life whatsoever. These are the same. He literally has them copied and paste his fucking points. This is how much of a loser this guy is. Nobody fucking wants this cocksucker on their fucking platform or in their chat room, period. Because all he does is say these fucking basic ass little fucking stats that don't mean shit. We already know how fucking bad the fucking coaching staff was. We know how fucking shitty it happened. Let's see what happens in year 2, asshole. You're talking about Fields. Fields got replaced, you little bitch. Fields got fucking replaced. He couldn't even fucking stay the starter, you fucking cocksucker. You fucking little bitch. That's what it is. He couldn't even stay the starter. You're bringing up Fields. You're bringing up Fields. You wanted Fields, you fucking pussy. That's who you wanted, you fucking pussy. That's who you wanted, you little bitch. You wanted Fields, you fucking cocksucker. Go fuck your mother, because I know you're living in her basement, you little pussy. Go do that. Hey, Chris, you're a fucking faggot. You're a bitch, Chris. You're a bitch.
All right, I'm back.
Don't get a fucking life. That's all this guy does. He's a fucking loser, bro. He's a loser.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he wants Tyson Bagent to
I don't know
fuck him
who
in the
this guy
ass.
is, but man, Ivan is going.
He wants
right.
Tyson Bagent to fuck him in the ass because he loves his fucking golden lock. That's what he wants. Look at all he does is repeat his fucking. That's all he does. Copy and paste. He's a bitch. He's a bitch. Just like his mother was a bitch.
Wow, literally just taking Ivan to the next level here.
His mom should have farted him out and fucking left him on the sidewalk. That's what she should have done. That's what she should have done with this bitch.
Oh my goodness. Ivan just went nuclear.
All right,
I
someone's
don't know who
gonna
Real Bad's
if
fan
you're a
is,
real
but
Bears
you
fan
literally
is.
need to, yeah.
Chris Foster's a bitch.
Ivan,
Oh, he
man,
does
where
this
were
a
you
damn
when I
bitch.
needed you with the Canadians? Oh
Fuck the
man,
Canadians.
This is gonna be a good
I don't think the
one.
Canadians needed this kind of treatment.
Canadians and Chris Foster fuck each other in the ass.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Okay.
Oh my God.
They do. With hockey sticks. With hockey sticks.
No one on the weekend is not associated with this kind of production. I'm just kidding.
All right, John. That note, we're gonna end the show. A big thank you to Iron from Iron from the Tape Never Lies for going nuclear at the end.
Learn
Always
how
a
to
great
spell,
time,
you
Ivan.
fucking bitch.
Oh my goodness.
Learn how to spell, you fucking bitch. Hey,
Oh, my
show your
goodness.
face one day, Chris.
All right, John. That is it for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you to you, our listeners, for sticking with us, supporting us to 237 episodes. Thank you to our sponsor, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Good Clothing. No, not Good Clothing Company. No longer there.
You gotta mute this
Thank
guy.
you to everybody who showed up today. And we're coming back next week. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next time for episode 238. And until then, be good to each other
Bitch.
for the love of sports.
Chris Foster, you're a bitch.